Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the Video Bidline Bulletin. My name is Justin, I'm the Vice Chairman of the JPWG, and today we want to go over the Pairing Bid Analyzer in NavBlue. This is a really handy tool. It'll make it so you can look at each line of your bid, and you'll be able to see how that line is affecting what could be awarded from you or what you're avoiding. So first things first, there's two ways to get into the analyzer. One is click here on the magnifying glass. That'll open up the analyzer. The other way is if you just have one line highlighted, click on the hamburger menu, go to Analyze, and it'll pop up. One thing to remember is if the whole bid group is highlighted, it'll be analyzing the entire thing at once. What we want to talk about today is mostly just clicking on one line and analyzing that at a time. We want to make sure all these boxes are checked. I was messing around earlier, so they were unchecked. But anyway, starting at the first, avoid pairings if any sit length greater than 3 hours. Right now, since we're doing avoids, we'll do removed from pool. Remember, we've got a pairing pool of all the pairings in the base, and everything we do either takes things out of the pool that we don't want, or it takes things out of the pool and puts them on our schedule. All the negative things take them out of the pool so they can't be awarded to us. So if we click on the red remove from pairings pool, you can click on all these. If we click on the red there, it says there's 16 pairings that operate 17 times in the month. That means one of the pairings operates 2 days a month. That's why that number is different, and we'll see that as we go further down. But since this is highlighted, it's showing us everything on that line that's being pulled out of the pairing pool for us to bid on later. You can click on it, open it up, and see why it's being filtered out. In this case, let's see, we've got a turn time in New Orleans of 3 hours and 22 minutes, so it's filtering out exactly what I want it to, is trips like that. So we can close that. You can scroll through and look at any number of them. But before we click on the next line and see how that's affecting our bid, I want to point out this filtered pool here. We have 558 pairing instances. The filtered pool is what's in our pairing pool currently. We removed 17 from what it would be with no negative preference in there. And you'll see this next time we're going from 558. We're subtracting 132 from that. And now our pairing pool that's available to give us pairings is down to 426. And again, we removed 77 pairings that operate a total of 132 times. If we take this Lima 4033, for example, it's got one pairing number. That's the first number with the 77. So it's one of 77. But this pairing operates 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times through the month. So this pairing operates 7 times, which is why this other number is so large. The middle number is always going to be the same as the other. I could get into that, but it's irrelevant. Just pay attention to the first number and the last number. As we click down our pairing, it'll show us what's removed with each line, and you'll see our pairing pool get smaller with each line as we go through. At the end of it here, 4 off weekends obviously pulls a lot of trips out. So now my pairing pool is down to just 149 pairings that it has to pull from to give me my award pairing statements. So when we get to the green award pairing statements, it's best to click over here on the added to potential awards. So as you'll see, this line right here is not giving me any trips. There's no trips that match that are also not avoided up here. So one thing to remember with the analyzer is anything that's above it is being considered as well. So you'll see if we take off these weekends here, it'll recalculate. I just unclick that box, it'll recalculate, and there's actually 2 that match that work on weekends. You can click these boxes and unclick them to have them be considered or not. For now, we'll leave them there. So this isn't going to award me anything unless it gets into denial mode and makes me work over a weekend. Then it'd come back and maybe try to give me some of these if there's any left. If we go down here, further down, same thing here with all the avoids I have up here. There's nothing that matches that. For the next couple of lines, that's going to be the case until we get down here at, I've got award pairing if average daily credit greater than 5, with commutable times, I picked check-in after noon and check-out before 7 p.m. So right now this is saying there's 5 pairings that match that. Each pairing only operates one day. So I can click in here and look at the pairings and see if that's what I want. It's afternoon, evening show time, or departure time rather, and I get done in time to catch a commute flight home if that was my commuting time. And that's what I'm doing in between. So it's really nice to be able to see exactly what trips it's pulling to try to give you. Obviously, this is done as if nobody else was bidding, so everything you see here, some of them might go senior to you if other guys are looking for them. It doesn't take your seniority into account. All it's taking into account is what this line says and how many trips in that pairing match that. You can click down here. I said, well, if I can't commute on both sides, I'd like to commute on one side and get high credit trips. This one's adding 7 more, so now my entire bid has only 12 things it can potentially put on my schedule. And as we get less restrictive and just try to find more things here, I'm up to 11 on this line, gives me up to 30. And you can just click through that, see what kind of trips it's giving you. If you want, you can scroll through, open them up. And then down here, I did a more general just award pairing if it's a 4-day pairing. Only 7 of those were added there. A 3-day pairing that actually has 14 and a half hours or better, 30 of those. 2-day pairing, there's 10 of those. So at the very bottom of my bid, it's got 111 pairing instances that it can put on my schedule. That's pretty low. You would want that number to be a lot higher unless you're pretty senior. But if you take into account denial mode, it could come up here and get rid of the weekends, and that jumps up to 321 all of a sudden. If we come up here and get rid of the 2-hour sit, we get a couple more. We can just click off most of these. Now I'm up to 485. So if I'm allowing denial mode to kick in, it can deny stuff, and then I know I'm getting more into what I want and what my seniority can hold the higher this number gets here. So anyway, that's just a quick take on how the pairing analyzer works, how you can use it to better refine your bidding technique. And just keep in mind, once again, when the line's highlighted, it's looking at that and everything above it. If you don't want those to be factored, or you want to see what it would happen after denial mode runs through, you can unclick the boxes. So anyway, that's it for this episode of the Bidline Bulletin. Hopefully we'll have more videos coming out soon, so stay tuned.